Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Maggie McAlpine. I'm the Director of Cybersecurity Partnerships and Evangelism here at Seceon, and this is session 6 of our 2026 Cybersecurity Battlefield series. Today's session is Automate Compliance, Eliminate Complexity, focusing on how organizations can automate NERC CIP and IECC 62443 compliance, what emerging regulations like DORA and NIS2 require, and how to stay continuously audit ready in an increasingly complex environments. I'm pleased to be introducing our two speakers today. First is Nishant Pandey, data engineer at Seceon, specializing in governance, risk, and compliance and data analysis. Nishant brings 5 years of experience in cybersecurity and holds a master's degree in data analysis and a bachelor's in computer science from Clark University. Based in Boston, he is currently developing a server-side safety lock system designed to restrict user permissions to essential actions, including configuration management, platform installation, and upgrades and monitoring active services, strengthening operational security at the infrastructure level. Later in the presentation, joining him for the demo will be Suryansh Pandey, a cybersecurity and governance risk and compliance professional with hands-on experience in regulatory frameworks and back-end compliance architecture. At Seceon, he has contributed to more than 15 global compliance frameworks, including ISO 27001, NIST, PCI DSS, HIPAA, SOC 2, RBI, SEBI, NIS2, and EU DORA. With a master's degree in computer applications, Suryansh combines technical expertise with compliance strategy, automation, and framework mapping with a strong focus on AI-driven compliance solutions. As a reminder, everyone, please feel free to submit questions in the Q&A throughout the session. We will address them towards the end. We will no raising the hand until the very end, if you have that functionality. And with that, I would like to welcome Nishant and Suryansh on and turn it over to them. All right.
Hi, can you guys see me and hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Give me a sec.
Absolutely.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Nishant. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone who is listening in. So, welcome to the session 6 of the 2026 Cyber Battlefield, Automate Compliance and Eliminate Complexity. This series looks at how unified XDR, ITDR, UEBA, and OT security capabilities work together to counter today's most critical threats. In this session, we zero in on the compliance side, how these capabilities help organizations meet regulatory requirements without the manual burden. We will cover automating compliance standards like NERC CIP, IEC 62443. NERC CIP sets mandatory cybersecurity controls for the bulk electrical systems, asset identification, access management, incident reporting, and network monitoring, being few of its more common and used factors. The 2026 roadmap is tightening requirements even further, expanding multi-factor authentication and internal traffic monitoring, even for low-impact systems. IEC 62443 complements this on the industrial side, defining security levels for automation and control systems across energy, manufacturing, and transportation. Secondly, we'll talk about DORA and NIST2 and what they require to be cybersecurity compliant. So DORA, which has been effective since January 2025, mandates that EU financial institutions prove operational resilience against disruptions through structured risk management, incident reporting, and third-party oversight. NIS2 has expanded EU cybersecurity obligations tenfold to over 160,000 entities across 18 critical sectors, requiring 24-hour incident early warning, supply chain assessments, and document continuity plans, with fines up to 10 million euros or 2% of total global turnover. These numbers on screen frame the business case: $4.4 million dollars spent on average breach, and over 7.5 or 7.1 billion euros spent in cumulative fines by GDPR, and up to 90% penalty risk reduction through automation. This is exactly what we will demonstrate today. So let me walk you through what we will cover today. Here's our roadmap for the next 40 to 45 minutes. We'll start with why compliance matters at a strategic level, then look at real world enforcement cases that makes the urgency tangible so you can understand what these numbers actually mean. We'll cover NIST CSF 2.0, the new golden standard for cybersecurity frameworks, and the challenges that organizations face trying to keep up with continuous compliance. Then we will shift towards Seceon's answer, our AI compliance CMX 360 platform, cost savings through automation, and how our framework mapping guides simplify implementation. And then we will wrap up with a live demonstration of CMX 360 in action by Suryansh. So let me start with why. Why does regulatory compliance matter? Compliance is no longer a checkbox exercise. It's strategic risk management. There are three pillars here. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Um, Compliance is no longer a checkbox exercise, it's a strategic risk management, and there are three pillars here: legal and regulatory obligation, stakeholder trust, and operational efficiency. Legal and regulatory obligations. For that, organizations must proactively monitor compliance across HIPAA, GDPR, PCI DSS, and a growing list of state level and international level privacy laws. The regulatory surface is only expanding, not shrinking. Stakeholder trust. Regular compliance reporting signals commitment to security. When breaches hit the news, it's the companies that can demonstrate compliance posture that retain customer and investor confidence. And operational efficiency. If done right, compliance isn't a burden, it's a business accelerator. Automated compliance reduces friction, limits liability, and bakes security into everyday workflows. Now look at the number in the green boxes. Um, IBM's 2025 report puts that average breach at like almost $4.4 million dollars. GDPR fines have crossed 7.1 billion euros, and almost 69% of organizations expect compliance budgets to only grow. 77% of C-suite leaders say that compliance directly supports business growth and business objectives. So, but here's what it should be the most concerning part, the red boxes. We have projected that the cost, using IBM's X-Force threat index, that the cost of data breaches are only expected to climb higher from $4.4 million dollars to $4.7 million dollars in 2026 and reach 5.5 million by 2028, driven by AI accelerated attacks and shadow AI adding to almost up to $600,000 per incident. Cumulatively, GDPR fines have will be on track to hit 12.3 billion euros by 2028, as NIS2, the EU DORA Act, and other cybersecurity frameworks and standards enforce ramping up their policies. Breach notifications have already surged 22% year over year, surpassing 400 per day in the last year. The cost of inaction is compounding. And so, what does inaction actually look like? What are some real world cases where you can actually look at their numbers and feel the effect of not being compliant with some standards or being lackadaisical with your security? So, impacts of non-compliance, real-world cases. So here are some cases that represent the breadth of enforcements that's happening right now across geographies, industries, and regulatory frameworks. TikTok and Meta. So Ireland's DPC framework hit TikTok with a 530 million euro fine for data sovereignty violations. Meta holds the record at 1.2 billion euros for unauthorized EU to US data transfers. These aren't edge cases; they are shaping our um, global data governance as we speak. Cash App. And its parent company, Block Inc., was fined for $175 million, including 120 million in direct customer compensation for security lapses, inadequate financial data controls. This is what happens when basic safety and basic security is neglected. Um, Google was fined by France's CNIL for for over 325 million euros for cookie consent violation, especially making it harder for user to click the reject button over accept accept button. This shows that even like the UI and UX experience are being looked at by these cybersecurity frameworks. Um, Healthcare enforcement. HIPAA fines have surged in 2025. HealthPlex was fined for lacking multi-factor authentication and delaying breach notification. Solara paid $3 million for EP. The Data exposure and healthcare remains under intense scrutiny. So, what's the new compliance standard that everyone needs to align to? Something that is more common so that some other framework can be similar to that. For example, NIST CS 2.0. NIST CSF 2.0 was released in Feb 2024, which has been a paradigm shift in this industry. Three things have made it fundamentally different from its previous version. First, the scope. CSF 2.0 applies to all organizations, not just cybersecurity, not just healthcare industry. If you are an organization, if you are in business, this cybersecurity framework applies to you. Second, the new govern function. The new govern function added to NIST CSF 2.0 is the new star of the whole standard. Govern sits at the center, setting strategy, risk tolerance, and governance that applies to all other five functions. It elevates cybersecurity from just being an IT concern to a board level responsibility. The remaining five functions are still the same. Identify your assets and risks, protect those assets with safeguards like access controls, training, detect anomalies through continuous monitoring, respond to incidents with communication and mitigation, and recover by restoring capabilities, incorporating all the lessons learned throughout the whole procedure. So what's critical to note is CSF 2.0 now maps to other industrial standards like ISO 27001, SP 800 171, and over 50 other cybersecurity standards. Plus, NIST is also trying to add the AI cyber profile to expand into the risks and the all kind of risks that are associated with AI. So this framework is not just in its current form now, it's gonna keep evolving and keep expanding. So key drivers. CSF 2.0 is just one of those many forces driving compliance demands. So what are the key drivers that are driving this demand? Four converging forces are making compliance non-negotiable. Data privacy regulations, GDPR, CCPA, CPRA, and a growing wave of state-level privacy laws now mandate robust data protection, regular audits, and transparent data subject rights. 92% of organizations must comply with at least GDPR. Industry-specific standards, PCI DSS 4.0 went into effect, and it deals with any kind of transaction on the internet. HIPAA enforcement is surging in healthcare industries. SOC 2 is at table for software as a service providers, and ISO 27001 requires specific security controls and risk assessments. Every sector has its own requirements and cybersecurity standards, and these are driving the need for cybersecurity compliance forward. Investor and customer pressure. 77% of C-suite leaders say that compliance contributes towards business objective. After high-level profile breaches, investors now demand proof of cybersecurity posture before writing checks. AI is also adding another layer towards the evolution of compliance cybersecurity standards. The EU AI Act is now actively enforcing penalties. NIST's AI cyber profile creates new obligations towards AI requirements. Sector-specific AI mandates are also emerging globally. This is a new compliance layer that did not exist 2 years ago. So with all these drivers, what makes continuous compliance so hard? Right. So 5 challenges keep coming up in every conversation we have with partners and customers. Framework complexity, managing multiple frameworks like NIST, CSF 2.0, PCI DSS, HIPAA, IEC 62443, and NERC CIP requires a lot of substantial resources. 76% of organizations rank third-party risk as their top compliance priority. Um, Manual process fatigue. 40% of compliance teams still rely on spreadsheets. It's a staggering number. Compliance hours have increased from 61% between 2016 and 2023. Manual evidence collection drains resources and creates audit gaps, especially while managing multiple frameworks at the same time. It is a very arduous task that requires a lot of work hours. Real-time visibility gaps. Without continuous monitoring, security postures drift between audits. You can pass an audit in January, and by March, you might not be compliant with that same standard. 52% of organizations are planning to adopt AI-based risk prediction tools to close this gap where they are always catching up towards being compliant and, and being compliant all the time. Cross-framework duplication, overlapping requirements across framework force redundant controls and duplicate evidence gathering. As I mentioned earlier, there are multiple frameworks that sometimes deal with the same territory. So it is really costly and work hours inducing that all of these frameworks need to be managed at the same time that require similar controls, similar proofs, and everything. Resource constraints. The cybersecurity skills shortage adds $1.57 million to average breach costs. Teams just simply don't have bandwidth for proactive compliance. 34% of organizations and employees foresee permanent NIS2 related budget increases. And these are all the problems that we built the Seceon AI CMX 360 to solve. So, yeah, sorry. So Seceon's approach to AI CMX 360 and compliance as a whole. This is the core of what we are here to talk about. AI compliance CMX 360 takes a fundamentally different approach. It takes your existing security data into an audit-ready compliance. No months of setup, no months of new infrastructure, no additional costs. Instant compliance readiness. It provides instant compliance readiness. CMX 360 analyzes your accumulated SIEM data and automatically maps existing control to 20 plus compliant frameworks. Up to 80% of requirements are satisfied from day one. You are not starting from scratch every time you create a new framework. You are just building on already all the data that you have already secured. Security first approach. Unlike traditional GRC tools that treat compliance as a separate activity, CMX 360 generates compliance evidence and deals directly from the real security events. You're compliant and secure at the same time. Faster audits and certification, automated evidence collection, validation, and reporting eliminate manual processes entirely. Audit timelines shrink by up to 75%. SOC 2 or ISO 27000 certification that normally take up to 6 to 9 months can be achieved in 2 to 3 weeks. Predictive compliance intelligence. Our platform uses AI to identify potential compliance gap before they become an audit finding. You stay ahead of evolving standards instead of catching up to them. And multi-framework monitoring. A single unified dashboard tracks readiness across 20 plus global and regional frameworks with real-time scoring. No switching between tools, no jumping between hoops to be compliant with multiple frameworks at the same time. And zero infrastructural cost. CMX 360 is built directly into our AI SIEM platform, so no additional infrastructure is needed, no extra agents are needed, no third-party tools. And if you need to add industrial-specific framework, the no-code expansion makes it effortless. You can just add your own framework and provide proofs to be compliant with it. So let me show you the specific of what the AI CMX 360 delivers. This slide drills into 4 key capabilities and measurable results that CMX 360 delivers. Multi-framework monitoring, unified visibility across all your frameworks in one place. You see evidence completion, control completion, and percentages for each framework updated in real time. Continuous readiness scoring, live dashboard that show control, coverage, framework progress, and evidence collection. Your compliance posture is always visible and always current, up to date. No code expansion. If you need to add a new framework for a specific industry or region, you can extend or customize frameworks without any cost, without any development work, without any extra hours. Zero infrastructure cost. Everything runs on the same platform. No procurement cycles, no deployments, and so let's look at some of the results that are from real customer deployments. 91st, there's 90% faster evidence collection, 75% faster audit completion, a 60% reduction in overall compliance costs, and the headline number SOC 2 readiness in 2 to 3 weeks, compared to industry average of 6 to 9 months. At the bottom, you can see some of the global standard frameworks that we um, support right now. These are not the only ones that we support, but these are some of the more globally prevalent ones, like SOC 2, ISO 27001, GDPR, NIS2, PCI. And we also support some regional standards like IRAP, MAS, RBI for India, SAMA for Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth. What does this all mean in cost savings? What does this all mean in terms of your money? So let's talk numbers. For a mid-sized organization, we estimate over $100,000 in annual savings across 4 categories. Operational savings, automated evidence collections and continuous monitoring and workflow automation dramatically reduces the hours compliance staff needs to spend on manual tasks. No need to manage overly large spreadsheets, no need to cross-check between various frameworks. It saves a lot of work and a lot of time. Audit preparation, a 50 to 70% reduction in audit time prep, because CMX 360 always maintains ready to show reports. You eliminate the last minute scramble that typically consumes weeks and weeks of efforts before every audit cycle. Technological consolidation. Seceon's unified platform replaces redundant tools like GRC, across GRC and SIM and EDR and all these components coming together to provide a good service without need for extra licenses, without need for extra integrations, and with fewer headaches. Penalty avoidance, up to 90% in risk reduction. Proactive and continuous compliance means you can catch gaps before regulators do. Early detection prevents the kinds of penalties we saw earlier on, like TikTok and Meta and all those other real life cases that we saw earlier today. Penalties like that, those can run into hundreds of millions of dollars. So let's just summarize our key conclusion, summarize the key takeaways. So 4 takeaways I want you to walk away with today are: reduced audit fatigue. Seceon delivers up to 50 to 70% reduction in audit preparation time. Our automated systems maintain continuously up-to-date records so that there's no more scrambling before an audit. Proactive risk management. Early detection of compliance gap reduces your exposure to regulatory fines from cybersecurity standards like GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, and much more. You find the problems before the auditors do. And continuous audit readiness. You are always audit ready, not just at the audit time. This eliminates up to $30,000 in emergency remediation costs and gives stakeholders real-time visibility into your compliance posture. Okay, now let's look at our framework mapping guides and how these things are tied into our AI CMX 360 compliance platform and what do these do. So Seceon's framework mapping guides are the bridge between our platform capabilities and your specific requirements. So these are the comprehensive documentation that aligns Seceon's security capabilities with each and every major framework, including NIST CSF 2.0, ISO 27001, PCI DSS 4.0, and so many more. Each guide shows exactly how our automated detections map to specific framework controls and requirements. It simplifies implementation. Pre-built mapping documents reduces the required effort and maintaining those large spreadsheets by over 60%. Instead of starting from a blank spreadsheet, you're always starting with a near complete mapping that is already validated against multiple frameworks. And streamlined audit preparations. Auditors receive framework aligned reports directly from the platform. Custom and scheduled reports keep evidence packages current, so you're never working from stale data. And up up to 98% compliance with NIST CSF 2.0, 95% compliance for HIPAA, um, and so much and so more. So these alignments are the yep, so on and so forth. So now I'll pass it over to Suryansh, who will give you a live demonstration of our CMX 360 tool, how it works, and all the how it is easier to manage, how it's easier to handle multiple frameworks with it. All of those, Suryansh will give you a demonstration of. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I'll give it over to Suryansh. Thank you.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Let me begin by introducing the concept of Common Control Framework, that is CCF. Organizations today are required to comply with multiple regulation framework such as ISO 27001, HIPAA, NIST, SEMI, SAMBA, and many more. Traditionally, each framework is managed separately, which leads to duplication, inefficiency, and audit fatigue. CCF solved this by creating a single standardized control structure that map across multiple frameworks. Instead of managing compliance in silos, organization manages centrally, reducing duplication, simplify audits, and ensuring consistent compliance. The strategic advantage here is scalability. Where a new regulations comes in, it can be mapped into the existing control structure without rebuilding process from scratch. Compliance framework overview. Organizations work with global and regional standards like ISO 27001, HIPAA, NIST, SEBI, and SAMA. Each framework has different control structure, terminology, and audit expectation, but the core objective remains the same: protect sensitive data, manage risk, and ensure regulatory compliance. Advantage of compliance frameworks are establishing structured governance and accountability, standardized risk management, reduce regulatory and operational risk, improve security posture maturity, enable scalable compliance across region. A unified compliance strategy ensures efficiency, consistency, and better control visibility. ISO 27001 is one of the most globally recognized standards. It focuses on building and information security management, that is ISMS. It ensures confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the CIA trade. Key areas include risk management, access management, incident response, and supplier security. Advantage of ISO 27001 are internationally accepted security benchmark, structured and documented risk management approach, strengthen internal governance mechanism, improve security process maturity, supports regulatory alignment across multiple jurisdictions. ISO 27001 demonstrates strong governance and structured security implementation. Next, we have HIPAA. HIPAA applies to healthcare entities in the United States. It focuses on protecting protected health information, that is PHI. It defined administrative, technical, and physical safeguard. Advantage of HIPAA are protect sensitive healthcare data, reduce risk of legal and financial penalties, establishes standardized healthcare security control, enhances accountability in data handling, strengthen compliance governance in healthcare operation. HIPAA ensures disciplined handling of sensitive medical information. Next, we have NIST. The NIST cybersecurity framework follow a risk-based methodology. It organized cybersecurity into five core functions, that is identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Advantage of NITs are flexible and scalable implementation model, align cybersecurity initiative with business risk, provide a structured incident response lifecycle, easily integrate with other compliance standards, enhance overall cyber resilience. Many organizations adopt NIST as a foundational security model and map other frameworks to it. Now move to SEBI. SEBI Cybersecurity Framework governs financial management entities in India. It focuses on protecting capital market, trading system, and investor data. Advantage of SEBI frameworks are strengthen financial structure security, mandate structural governance and reporting, improves operational disaster recovery preparedness, reduce systematic financial risk, enhances regulatory oversight and compliance discipline. This framework ensures secure and stable financial operation. Next, we have SAMA. SAMA Cybersecurity Framework governs financial institute in Saudi Arabia. It emphasizes governance, risk management, third-party security, and operational resilience. Advantage of SAMA are a strong regulatory enforcement structure, comprehensive cyber risk management requirement, emphasize of third-party and supply chain security, improve sector-wise resilience, align with international security standard. Managing SAMA alongside global framework requires centralized controls monitoring automation. Now move to AI compliance CMS 360. It is an AI-powered compliance automation platform. Instead of manually collecting evidence and mapping controls in a spreadsheet, the platform gives automatically mapped control, verify evidence using AI, track compliance status in real time, support almost 26 plus frameworks. It reduces compliance time by 40 to 50% and gives and keeps organization audit ready at all the time. Now you will see dashboard and dashboard join real time monitoring. Compliance becomes operational, not just in documentation. The dashboard provides real-time visibility across frameworks. Organization can see compliance score, active alerts, evidence coverage, and control completion percentage. This enables a shift from reactive audits to continuous compliance monitoring. As you once log in into demo, you can navigate to a SOAR BI compliance section. Here we found the AI compliance CMS 360. This is the main compliance dashboard. Here we got total active standard, framework available to enable, real-time compliance matrices, and visual progress indicator. Each framework appears as an interactive card showing its compliance health. Each framework card gives a quick summary, framework name and issuing authority, active or inactive status, evidence collected percentage, covered control percentage. These two circles indicator shows the left circle shows evidence upload and the right circle shows covered control. This gives immediate visibility into compliance posture. Let me briefly explain how these matrices are calculated. Evidence control percentage is equal to controls with uploaded evidence divided by total control requiring evidence. And the covered control percentage is equal to control completed including both evidence minus upload and pre-completed controls. And the pre-completed controls are automatically mapped complete based on telemetry ingested from SIM. This significantly reduces manual effort. Typically, 40 to 50% controls are auto-mapped. Here we can filter these by inactive and active status. Yeah. So all these are active and we can see inactive. So all these are inactive. Administrator can toggle framework without losing historical data. That active status. Yeah. When deactivated progress is preserved and when deactivated tracking resumes immediately. Now we'll click into the framework. Let's take an example of a very popular ISO. Yeah. Here in the overview tab, we see evidence coverage statics, cover control breakdown, OK control, control need evidence. On the right, we see full framework description, regulatory context, implementation scope, and control domain like confidentiality, integrity, availability, privacy, governance, and risk management. This gives both business level and technical level visibility. Let's see the control tab. In this, here where this is where detailed compliance management happen. On the left side, requirement section are requirement categories. These are the requirements, main domains. And on the right side, in the main panel, there are total controls, completed controls, documented progress, test verification progress. Each requirement expand to show policy statement, control description, and sub-control with ID. Now look at some controls. Yeah. Now look at the evidence management for any control. Uh, yeah. Upload evidence document, add notes. Here we can and track upload history. And upload history contain all format like PDF, doc, XLS, CSV, and many more. Each uploaded document shows uploaded date, uploaded by, notes, AI resilience score, AI assessment status, and AI verification. This is where CMS 360 perform become very powerful. Every uploaded document is automatically analyzed by SEDA AI. The AI perform concept, content extraction, keyword detection, semantic analysis, control mapping, relevance scoring. The scoring guide based on the like 85 to 100% are strong compliance evidence, 70 to 84% are acceptable, 50 to 69% are moderate, and below 50% are likely insufficient. This system marks evidence as passed or failed automatically. This removes manual validation efforts and accelerate audit preparation significantly. Now we can see the OK control. Um, the OK control. Mm, yeah. So we can see the OK control section by clearly as shown. It includes several KPIs, which is that provide a quick overview of compliance performance. These KPIs have been created using the BI tool, where we designed and customized dashboard based on all the relevant data point required for monitoring and reporting. The KPI matrices consolidated key compliance information into a single easy to understand view, enabling better analysis, real-time tracking, and informed decision making. Let's move to the BI tool, where we can know how we made KPIs. So BI tool stands for Business Intelligence. Using this module, organization can create fully customized report and interactive dashboard. The custom dashboard is a powerful analytic tool that transforms large volume of complex and structured data into simple, visual, and decision-ready insight. Instead of manually analyzing raw or alert, using user can build dashboard that support faster and more accurate. So why KPI is required? Before creating a dashboard, we first need to create KPI visualization. KPI visualization are building blocks of dashboard. They allow us to measure KPI, track trends, monitor alerts and threat, analyze operational matrices. So first step in BI measure is always to create a chart based on requirement and then use those charts inside dashboard. Let's see how to add KPI visualization. Let me walk through the step. First, we go to the KPI visualization section. Then we click on the add a visual. Then we have to add title like test. It can be more than it can be less than 50 words. Nodes are optional. Now we select the data source like alerts, threat indicator, and aggregate floor. Let's see visualization like how you want to see our data like in data table, in area chart, in bar chart, in data grid, in donut chart, in Gauss chart, line chart, matrices, pie chart, radar chart, text grid, and word cloud. That is take a data table. Field we can select what type of field we have to show. Like we need to show timestamp. We select event timestamp. Okay. Then which type of event? Event type name. Yeah. Then where it comes from, like source data type. Let's click the basic KPI. Here we can also fix the size of it. Let's take 10. So it shows the data. If we want any specific data, here we can also um, apply the Lucene theory to extract the specific data. Like if we want web exploit or web recon. Yeah, we can say web recon. So we can easily see the web recon data. This is how we made KPI. So with BI and we can also like we save this KPI. Okay. Then we move to the BI manager. Here we make the report. So these are the previous make report. Here we can import files and add a new dashboard. Like the description is optional. Here we can add KPIs and save the KPIs. Let's take an example like we made the test. Yeah. These are the previous metric. Let's take any KPI like IR0, 1. This is the text and this is the data table. Remove this. Here we can export those KPIs which we made and format in the BI dashboard. In this, we can export multiple of KPIs which we needed to show. Then we save this and it will show. Then we can see the export this file, share, clone it, delete it, and edit it, and also only view it. With BI and Dashboard Manager, organization can transform raw security and compliance data into meaningful visual insight. This bridges the gap between operational management and executive decision making. To summarize the key advantage, 40 to 50% controls are auto-completed using SIM telemetry, like AI-powered evidence validation, real-time compliance tracking, control level visibility, audit-ready reporting, multiple framework supports, reduce manual workload, faster compliance readiness. This transform compliance from reactive documentation into continuous monitoring. That concludes the domain of AI compliance CMX 360. We have seen how the platform centralizes compliance, multiple compliance framework, automate control tracking, uses AI for intelligence evidence validation, and ensure continuous audit readiness. Let's see next is KPI visualization. So the system tracks measurable KPIs such as evidence collected percentage, covered control percentage, overall compliance score, framework status with AI-based evidence verification. Up to 40 to 50% of controls are pre-completed using telemetry data, significantly reducing manual workload. So compliance is no longer just about passing audits. It's about building continuous trust, operational resilience, and security maturity. By integrating SIM, SOAR, EDR, and UEBA with compliance automation, the gap between security operational and regulatory requirement is effectively breached. Thank you. I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much for that, Suryansh. We actually had one question come in during Nishant's, I think. So this question could be to either of you. Um, is this an individual product or integrated with SIM? I think they mean about Seceon.
It is integrated with SIM. It comes in while with the SIM platform.
Mhm. We also had a few questions.
Maggie, this is Archanish. So let me just take it somewhat brief on that.
Okay.
So AI compliance CMS 360 is immediately available to the existing Seceon AI SIM customers as an add-on module. This is part of the add-on module, under the entire OTM platform, where you can see the more than 10 plus integrated modules, and AI compliance CMS 360 is one of them on that.
Mhm.
So how it has been structured is it has an add-on segment is a part of the OTM platform, and the same dependent by the design, so that the core value of the 60 to 80% instant compliance readiness comes directly from the consuming SIM telemetry.
Got it.
That's all.
Thank you, Arshanish. If anyone else has questions, please feel free to submit them. We probably have about a little less than 10 minutes to get to them all. We did have one question come in from out of band, a couple questions come in from out of band. One of them was, we operate across multiple countries. How does this platform scale for global compliance requirements?
So Nishant,
Gentlemen.
you would like to take, or want me to take on this?
Sure, please do.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So AI compliance CMS 360 is built with globally scalability as a core design principle. It currently supports 26 plus, if I'm not wrong, 26 plus compliance frameworks covering geographics, including the states, HIPAA, NIS2, India's the greatest is SEBI cybersecurity framework, Saudi Arabia, SAMA, the security framework, and internationally recognized standards like ISO 27001 and all. The common control framework is what makes it this scalable, is rather than building a separate compliance program for each region or regulation, team makes manage one unified control set. When
Mhm.
your organization expand into a new market with new regulatory demands, onboarding that in a new framework is accelerated because most of the underlying controls are already mapped and evidence is already being collected. The platform centralized dashboard gives a leadership a single pane of glass view of compliance posture across all active frameworks globally. That's it from my side.
Fantastic. Yeah, we actually had one last question, though. I'm not sure if Nishant wants to take it or not. Chanish, this is the last one that came out of band. Please feel free to submit more before we close in about 5 minutes. So the other question we received was, how does the Common Control Framework handle situations where two frameworks have directly conflicting requirements for the same control?
Okay, so let me give up a little bit example on a conflict challenge. So ISO 27001 requests access logs written for a defined period set by the organization risk assessment. So HIPAA mandates a minimum 6-year retention for the PHI related access logs. SAMA requires retention aligned with the Saudi regulatory timelines, which may differ from both. So there are not theoretical conflicts. They occur regularly across every multi-framework compliance program. So here, how our AI compliance CMS 360 resolve this. So the step one, so this platform applies a strictest standard wins principle. There are some steps of that. Like step one is the conflict detection. Step two is the requirement applied that platform defaults to the most stringent requirement across all active frameworks. Then step three is the conflict flagged for review. Every conflict is surfaced in the dashboard with a clear explanation of which framework conflicts with what exactly requires and which standard is being applied. And the last one is the manual override option, where compliance offers can review and override the default regulation or the resolution with documented justification. And this is maintaining full human accountability on this one. So that's it. Any question? We'll be happy to take on this. Or
That's all the questions we had sent in.
thank you.
Smith? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this is good. So thank you, everybody. I wanted to mention a couple of things here. One is that the all of the controls that you see, they come from the system, but you can customize them. So the example that, or the question that was asked that, hey, I have two different compliance requirement where the same control have different format. You can customize that to whatever time period that you want, whatever fields you want, or however you want to get that put together. So that's a really flexible approach. And second thing that we try to do is that the instead of the traditional uh, um, snapshot type of a compliance where you go on a monthly basis or a half a yearly basis, you go off and create the uh, report and then you put them through the audits and so on type of thing. The attacks and the compliance really need to be continuous. And that's exactly what we are doing. So if anytime you go out of compliance, in near real time, we will tell you that, hey, this is what happened, you can fix it so that you don't have everything backed up and like the a collected debt that you'll have to address when the audit time comes. You don't need to have people specifically dedicated to do those things. It just happens on a regular basis. Auditors come, you just get the report ready and maybe get it done within a day or two. That is going to be a record time compared to weeks and months that people take today. And that's the value that you're going to get with this product and the framework. In addition to the flexibility of broad coverage of almost anything around the globe that you would need, you would basically find a compliance. It's either built in or we will add that for you very quickly, or you can add it yourself. So there is a lot of flexibility here.
Thank you for that, Smith. We actually had one last question come in. How does Seceon support PCI standards?
So yeah, let me answer that too. So yes, the Seceon does indeed support PCI standard. We consider that as a similar to any other standards that we support. We have the data about all of the what we refer to as the PII, financial information, all of those things we will be able to put them through the same PCI report. And I believe the latest one is 4.x something, and that's supported within the platform as well. So short answer is yes. And it's same as the other ones, continuous compliance on a regular basis.
Thank you. I think that's time for us. And all the questions are now answered. So thank you again, everyone, our presenters, Nishant and Suryansh, Smith as well for answering the questions, our Chinese for answering questions. Thank you everyone who joined us today and asked those questions. We'll provide attendees with a video for this session in the next day or so, so please keep an eye out for that. This brings us to an end of today's session on the 2026 Cybersecurity Battlefield Series. We hope you'll continue the conversation with us in 2 weeks with the final session, Session 7, which will be on March 17th at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you again for your time and have a great rest of your day.